Hello. Today's gonna be running around getting everything I can get done in Workday kind of thing. I am getting ready for a wedding. I'm trying to make a wedding veil. We have some special church events coming up and I have to get ready for that too, so it's been a lot. Work on a quilt for a client. I want to get her done now and then maybe get a couple quilts ready to get done. It's a busy day. I'm starting a bit late because I had to go to a doctor this morning. Very sore from the doctor visit. You know, and then I had to go grocery shopping for a huge event that I'm having, helping at a wedding. I'm making a beautiful wedding veil. But I want to get this quilt going because I believe this is a donation quilt. And my client would like it as soon as possible. So we're gonna try to get her done. And let's put this on the machine. This is a design I'm quilting called the Baptist Clam 3 on Urban Elements. It's kind of weird how it quilts. I'm gonna have to quilt in here. I think I may do it manually to save some time and energy. But we'll see how it works. And then this was problematic, so I need to get that spacing right. And I'll show you what it looks like on the quilt. This is how it's quilting on the quilt, which is really pretty. It repeats over certain sections, so I don't recommend a variegated thread. Like, repeats right there. I'm trying to finish this quickly, but the design may not be as easy as I think it is, and I'm also going to bind it for a client. Alright, I wanted to show you this because it kind of sucks. I did pull the back, but apparently there was a pleat. I don't know if you see it right there. So it's a very sweet little quilt. I thought I was going to get done quickly, and you know, things sometimes don't go the way you want them. So I'm going to unstitch all those areas. I'm going to iron it and then go back and re-sew it, and then I still need to sew on those voids. So I've been here for about an hour and everything's pretty much quilted. It's quilted very beautifully. This is not an easy pattern to quilt, but it quilted very lovely. But it's stupid, man. My life, man. It'll get better. I'll fix it. So I want you to see this whole pleat, and you're probably wondering, how are you gonna fix that without unstitching the whole thing? I am going to unstitch probably like 2 inches in every quadrant, and then what's gonna save me, I'm gonna stitch there too, is water, steam, and iron. And so on this, I'm going to get my little scissors. I'd rather get my other nippers. Hold on. So here it is, and I have my nippers. And what I'm going to do is, this doesn't have a pleat, but this does. So I'm going to cut four stitches off. And sometimes the more space you give yourself, the better. It's just like I pulled it on one side. I guess I didn't pull it on both. Sometimes the dumbest stuff catches you. The bigger the pleat, the more unstitching you need to do. So here. And I'm going to quilt the quilt upside down. Oh gosh. Up here. And so I unstitch And I'm sure you don't want to be seeing me unstitching this whole time, right? How annoying. So everything is kind of unstitched. I have quite a bit of room here. Hopefully I've unstitched enough to flatten this area up. And I have the ironing mat underneath. And I'm just gonna wet the bejesus out of this fabric. And I have my iron going. I'm gonna unstitch a little bit more. And what I'm trying to do is not having to unstitch this whole row. And what I want to do is just unstitch a section of it so that I can iron it. So what I did is I ironed it as flat as I can, and I also unstitched all the way to this edge. So I'm going to start here and travel through, and I'm going to put this on the long arm. It's as flat as I could get it on the iron, and I may need to even iron a little bit more, but look how much less it's full. And I'm going to put it on the long arm and stretch it so it should pull itself, and then I'm going to quilt this area manually, I think. Cute! You're such a cutie. I didn't want her back here because she's a lot to manage. You know you're a lot, right? She gets into everything and it's annoying. No. Why are you... Oh. And then she harasses Cookie. So Cookie doesn't want to be here no more. Roxy, what are you doing up there? What are you getting into? No, ma'am. There's nothing there. Oh, you like the... Alright. Alright, let me get you down so you can play with it. So this is what it looks like on the long arm. It is nice and stretched out, pretty flat. So I'm gonna manually quilt these areas, but I think I should mark them so they look straight. I also think I should mark, I'll flip the quilt and then quilt these areas, but one thing at a time. This is it with it marked with the ruler. Yeah. No. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and quilt it. Here you can see these are, there's like a little baby pleat, which you're not going to notice. And then all, this one's stitched, that one's stitched, this one's stitched. And what I'm doing is I'm like moving the fabric around. So on this one I came from here, on this one I'm going this way, so that there's this kind of like movement. So I'm going to start on this one because I'm going to see if I could travel. I'm going to bring it up. And you can see that the fabric is kind of puddling. And this is where I'm gonna go real slow. And then there's barely, maybe like a minuscule pleat, but once this quilt is washed, you're not going to notice it. But in comparison to what we had before, there's no big giant pleat. And then I'm going to just kind of like remove all the chalk, and then I'm going to switch the quilt right side out, maybe not. Maybe I'll just mark it myself and quilt it over here so I don't have to use a computer. And this is what the back looks like. I used this curve ruler and this curve ruler for this line, and this curve ruler for this line. I'm trying to keep it the spacing that this has, but it's not perfect. But you can't tell that it wasn't the computer that did it. I wanted to show you what it looked like in the front. This is the area that I unstitched, and then I went back and quilted, and then this is the top that I manually designed. There was like some little holes, stitching holes, but yeah, you can't even tell that I was working in this area. Like here you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and wet it, and I don't want to wet the red that much and heat set that. Here you can see me heat setting, and now you don't see those little needle punctures. And it's because it has this paint. To me, this kind of white fabric has like a plastic vinyl little, and that's why you could see the stitch holes. But once it gets washed, you don't even see them anymore. Yeah, this was the area that I pleated in the back.